Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here. We're going into 7.3.3 for our first path, and I will say there was two fights, well, mostly one fight that really got me and wasn't really prepared for it. On this path, it's got Paradox buff, so whenever you gain a buff, you gain a Paradox charge. It's got Entropic burn, where you throw a special, you will drain their power. Quantum Entangle, where you have no defensive ability accuracy unless you have 3 Paradox charges, and then Spite, where obviously if you gain a buff, they gain power. So first up on the line, we have a Namor, and I figured I was going to give Mr. Fantastic a whirl, and he actually does really good on the two fights that I use him, which is this Namor fight. And so at first you basically want a dex, you're going to want to trigger Spite, and then that precision's going to give you 2 Paradox charges, and then whenever you parry, you lose a charge, which is fine. So this fight didn't turn out too bad. This was actually Namor did, or not Namor, Mr. Fantastic did a really good job against Namor. Just trying to manage those charges, make sure I keep them up, and then I'm trying to keep up the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, and barely snuck it in there, that knockdown. Definitely want to minimize how many times you parry. You want to make sure that you always stay at 3 or more charges, and one easy way to do that is, if you dex and then you'll get a charge and you can like parry heavy, and you kind of like offset the charges and whatnot. So I'm holding the heavy to get a longer duration on the Mr. Fantastic debuffs. I have all of them on there, and he's about to get locked into his special one. Get the careful study on that, which is going to help make his L1 hit like a little sissy, and if it happens to connect, and it also helps with the power gain that Mr. Fantastic gets. So we got that locked in. We refresh all of those debuffs, and there we get a dex, and we can parry. So basically, when you throw a special, you drain 15% of their power per charge. So 100% would be at, 100 divided by 15. If you had 6, you basically have 6 charges. If they were at 3 bars of power, if you threw a special, they would drop down to 0. 3 Paradox charges, they basically lose half, 1.5 bars. So that's one thing that I really didn't take into account when I was playing this in the Havok fight, and I was trying something out with Havok with DocOc, but he didn't turn out to be the best option for me. And maybe I didn't play it as well as I could have, but definitely should have gone in with like Guillotine 2099 or Warlock or Hulkbuster, somebody with a permanent armor break, or an armor up. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But so far I've managed the charges. We've gotten this Namor pretty much locked down the most of the fight. His power gain has been very little with all those Mr. Fantastic pre-fight debuffs triple stacked, and he takes care of that. We get a bunch of the debuffs back, and we're going up against this Mangog, and I thought about using Void, which Void would and should do really excellent against this Mangog, but I was kind of feeling it with Mr. Fantastic, and decided to give him another roll. I apply all of his pre-fight debuffs again, and yeah, he's going to do really well. So like normally I would probably fight this guy with Torch, but Torch I think was in AW. You know, like my Guillotine 2099 was in AQ. I probably could have just saved this this line for, you know, another try when I had all my best champs, but you definitely don't need all of your best champs to knock some of this stuff out. You know, I'm just trying to bust this stuff out as quickly as possible, and have some fun just trying different things. And yeah, Mr. Fantastic does work really well. You're gonna see here, I think I get this knockdown off a little too slow. The first set of debuffs fall off or reapply a new set. And as long as you're not doing full 5-hit combos on this guy, it's not too bad. You know, make sure that he gives himself his own, I don't even know what they're called, that blue little demon damnation icon, where once he gets to 10, when he throws a special, he'll go fully unstoppable and unblockable. So he's at 8, so the next time he throws a special 1, he's going to go, there it goes, he goes unstoppable, unblockable. He's got the incinerate and cold snap immunity, I believe. We try to get the heavy knockdown, we don't get it, but his special 1 is locked in now, so you know, if I do happen to get hit by that, it's not going to hit very hard. So you can see that when I threw that special, he just gets drained like crazy. So I have 4 charges. He throws his special, I'm going to throw the special 2. We get all our 3 debuffs back on, and yeah, I'm trying not to parry as much, because you got to make sure that you have 3 or more of those charges so that you can actually have some defensive ability accuracy. But basically, if you parry, hit him down, dex, and then parry, you can pretty much get this fight locked down. Throw some specials every once in a while, get the power drain, which is really nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get to a special 2 again and double up all those pre-fights. And then just make sure you parry if you get too high, you know, 7, 8 charges. You know, you're kind of flirting with the wild side, and you can, if you get to 9, man, you take a ton of damage. So yeah, definitely don't ever want to get up to 9. I know that I've gotten to 9 charges on a couple of the other paths, and it can really just mess you up. And yeah, it's no fun to take that damage. So we're almost done. We got to all 3 of those stacked. We're hitting with another special 2. Our power gain is pretty solid right now. And yeah, this Mr. Fantastic is dealing really well with this Mangog. And so I threw a couple specials like that last one into his block. I was forgetting that you know, if you don't apply any Mr. Fantastic pre-fights, your specials are all unblockable. But if you do apply them, you can't just throw them like that. And that was just my mistake. I think I did that twice in this fight. But yeah, so basically get a dex off, build up a charge, and then you can parry and then heavy knock them down. I think I'm gonna get to a special 3 here. And you can see, like, even with Spite up, with all those petrifies up, he gets no power. So Mr. Fantastic is a really great option. And then you can use a bunch of these debuffs on a couple of the other fights to help out your other champs control the Spite. So we're about done. We got that passive Fury, and boom, one big last kick to the face, and we get the Mangog. So Mr. Fantastic took down 2 fights. Now this is the fight that, you know, had I were to do this over again, I would have used a different option. And I kind of just threw, I think, 2 or 3 revives at this, because I kind of got frustrated, because I felt DocOc was going to do better at locking this guy down. So first off, I do need to get an armor up, which is basically you can get by attacking. He is going to get power locked. You know, Havok does have that passive power gain. But the one problem is with this is that, you know, I felt like I had to parry a bunch, and that was removing the charges and trying to get my ends and trying to get my paradox charges up. It just didn't work out too well. See there, I got a parry in, and I'm back to no defensive ability accuracy. I got double parry there, so now I'm at 0. Yeah, and the problem is if you let him get too many charges built up of his plasma, then you're gonna get plasma, and if he detonates, yeah, you take massive damage. So, you know, I think DocOc can definitely do this fight. I don't use DocOc a lot. I've never really used him on a Havok. I just know that he can do it. I just think with the defensive ability accuracy stuff going on, it kind of messed me up. So I probably should have been throwing specials to power drain him more, and I did not take into account the paradox power drains. I was just trying to push him to a special 2, and yeah, come on, throw your special, and then I just get special 3. And again, I should have thrown my special because it does have the power drain, and this is going to obviously kill me. So yeah, not a good start. And I should have just thrown my special and drained him. And so I'm looking at this guy thinking, do I start this over? Do I do something else? I'm like, no, I did that wrong. You know, I was trying to figure this out, but we're gonna go back in and try again. And the sad thing is you know, it didn't click in my mind yet that my specials were gonna drain him and control Havok's plasma buildup. And yeah, so that's where I went wrong here. So I do think DocOc can simply take this, especially if you spam more specials and you have enough paradox charges. But I think I use 2 or 3 revives, and I miss blocks. I miss, you know, I just get hit in the face a few times here, and got a little flustered, a little frustrated, and yeah. So there was one big problem is I let the paradox charges build up to 9, took big damage. So there I threw a special, and I didn't have any paradox charges, so I didn't get any power drain. So yeah, definitely I should have been trying to build up buffs more, and then here I get special 3'd again. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, this isn't going too well at all. I'm like, well, I felt like I was already committed, and I'm just like, okay, well, we can finish this off. And I have revives in my overflow, so I'm like, you know, a couple revives used, no big deal. They would pretty much be sold otherwise, but definitely this could be played significantly better. Because you can see anytime I get a power lock, he's gonna get drained and gets rid of all of his plasma buildup charges. If I was throwing specials, which I should have been pretty much constantly, would have controlled this fight significantly. I was trying to get the detonation charges, and it just wasn't happening. So here I throw my special, and I get a full drain, and I should have just pretty much been kept doing that. But I kept trying to get the detonations. I do have the Mr. Fantastic and SheHulk synergy there. I just get smacked in the face. Here we throw another special, and look, it drains them all the way down. And so yeah, and then I tried to counter his heavy with my heavy, and I get what is that called? That debuff, the feedback debuff. Luckily I didn't have any plasmas on me, and here we go again. I throw a special, and then check out that power drain. Pretty much drained him the whole way there. He was almost at special 3, had 6, but here I think I end up getting another buff, and I die. Let's see, from the, come on, I got a dex. I think I'm gonna die from the getting to 9 paradox. And yeah, I was trying to parry, and remove some of those, but they just weren't connecting. And so I think this is the last one. Yeah, so definitely not pretty at all. I do think DocOc can do this fight with better play, and you can see I started the fight with 8 paradoxes, and I immediately get an armor up, and yeah, I get that detonation, and that's the one thing I wish that was different with the paradox stuff. Is I wish the pre-fights, it would tell you how many you had going into the fight more clearly, or at all, because I think you go in sometimes and you don't realize you're like 1 charge away from taking big damage. But there we do get Havok down, and then now we're gonna go into the rest of these, and we're gonna go in for this one. You know, Void I think is probably one of the best for this whole lane. You know, had I not been in Alliance War, I probably would have brought both of my Voids. I have a rank 3 6-star Void and a rank 5 max sig Void. I was looking at the path, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna use Void for like the next 2 fights, so we'll use SheHulk for this one, since I had her at full health. And SheHulk does well. I get a lot of debuffs and power stings on this guy. We do want to try to keep this guy to his special 1 if he's going to throw anything, because I don't want him going invisible. We want to try to keep that petrify active as much as possible. There we get the knockdown, and we refresh that. And again, you know, with all of these paradoxes on you, every time you throw a special, you're pretty much going to drain them. So you can spam a lot. So you kind of want to dex and then get a parry in for an easy opening, do some draft back intercepts and whatnot. And yeah, this guy will go down. Now, I did have the Mr. Fantastic and SheHulk synergy. Also, DocOc was on the team. Also can use Sentry and Vulture. I don't really use either of those two too much. But I was planning on, you know, getting some decent power stings just because of the spite. But because we control the fights so well with the paradox charges, you really don't get too many specials thrown. There I got into some heavy spam, which is nice, and we're going to go back into the corner and we're just going to heavy spam away. I think I tried to do a heavy into a special 1 or a special 2, and it doesn't connect. And I don't know, sometimes it connects like that with SheHulk, and then other times it doesn't. I really don't understand why it is. I don't know if it's just the different like champions hitboxes and whatnot, but yeah, you can just heavy spam over here in the corner, which is kind of nice and fun. SheHulk doesn't get buffs. I think it's ideal if you don't bring a champ that gets buffs naturally. I think that was one of the problems with DocOc. You know, his armor up is kind of it's not random, but if you get enough of his build up, you get the armor up charge, and you don't have as much control as to when that happens. Whereas here with SheHulk, she's not getting any buffs. She gets passive furies, and then we're just gonna smash her down. So she does really well against that hood. And then we're going to go in on this Bishop. Now this Bishop was another problem for me. I think I used 1 revive with Void, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of like short 4-hit combos and then block baiting into making him throw heavy. So I want him to throw the least amount of specials as possible, but I don't have Void built up, so I do need to build up those paradox charges. And yeah, I think on this whole lane, it really didn't connect in my mind that I was getting the big power drains with the paradox charges. And I could have just been throwing a lot more specials. So you can see I lost all my paradox charges from the parries. We do knock him down again. We refresh the Mr. Fantastic pre-fight, so now we do have 3 of those petrifies up, 2 from Void, 1 from the Mr. Fantastic, and now they all fall off, which is kind of unfortunate. But here's where I should have kept throwing special power drain. So I should have dexed, build up a charge, and then just keep hammering this guy down, push him just below 1 bar, and then back off, and then throw a special. That's probably the game plan that would have been able to easily solo this, but I got smacked by that special one. I do have Killmonger on the team to give me the regen for every intimidating presence debuff that I put on him. I tried for an intercept, and yeah, that did not go well. I'm gonna throw another special. He gets the drain. We got Fear of the Void with 2 petrifies on, but he is at max prowess. We're trying to be aggressive, and here throws a special. We're draining his power from Spite because we got Fear of the Void and 2 petrifies up, and yeah, we're gonna get Fear of the Void back up. And I probably could have finished this fight off, but I think I failed right at the end, trying to get some draft back intercepts. We got 6 paradox charges, so I need to parry and keep those in check. But here, boom, drain. So yeah, definitely spam the specials when you can before the champ can launch theirs, and it can really help offset the Spite. And then here we go. I think we're gonna throw this one. No, I think I might. Do I take the paradox damage? No, I think maybe I just try and intercept and I die. Another special, another full drain, so you can really control these guys' power with those paradox charges. Make sure you don't get too many buffs. Got kind of a sketchy intercept there. We didn't drain him there. That was interesting. I'm not sure what happened if I look back at that. Yeah, I looked back. I had 4 charges through the special. I didn't get any drain, so that seemed like a little bit of a bug, and yeah, I ended up getting whacked for it, but we're going to revive Void, throw a few health pots into him, and get him back in here and take this guy out. So really not sure why I didn't get the power drain, and obviously he starts with with the power that he ended with. I try to dex the L2, I get clipped by the end of it. Luckily it didn't kill me. Here we get to a special one. We throw with 4 charges and no drain. So that's weird. We've been getting the drain this whole time, and then now we're not getting the drain. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. We do get the full clean dex that time. We do have 2 petrifies on, which is really nice. And here I'm trying to kind of like dance out. I don't want to deal with any more specials. And there we get the drain on that one. So 2 in a row where I didn't get any drains, and then Yeah, so who knows? We're just trying to dance this guy out, make sure we don't get too many paradox charges. We get the kill, and we're gonna move on. So we got one more fight, and it's a Dragonman. I do think Mr. Fantastic could definitely do this one as well. And yeah, we're just gonna go in and reverse a lot of the guy's power gains if he ever actually gets it. And we're gonna throw a lot of specials, and we're gonna drain this guy. We're gonna put on Mr. Fantastic pre-fights to help offset the power gain from the beginning. And yeah, I think we get the solo, or do I fail at the end? I can't remember. But you can really manage the power gain and spite. Just need to make sure you don't get too many paradox charges, and that you actually keep them up as well. So we're gonna do heavy knockdowns to make sure we refresh those Mr. Fantastic debuffs to kind of help out with the power gain. And here we go. Refresh those with the special one knockdown. We get the power drain. We got 7 charges. Gotta get those parries off to reduce them. Don't let them get too high. Special, full power drains. Yeah, so Void works really well. Need to get a knockdown. I think these are gonna fall off. Yep, they fell off. So it would have been nice to have kept those up a little bit longer, but I was a little bit too slow. Yeah, I'm getting that 1% heal every debuff because I got Killmonger on the team. Get another one. Just keep spamming specials. You spam specials, he won't be able to throw them. You do want to intercept quite a bit, which isn't too bad. And then every once in a while, if you do have to end up dexing, parry, and you're kind of managing those paradox charges. Dex, get a charge, parry, remove a charge. Always make sure you're kind of in that, I think 4 to 6 is kind of like the sweet spot. With 6, you pretty much get a full drain on special, which you really don't need that unless they're up to a special 3, which really shouldn't be the case. And yeah, we almost got this guy down. I think I do end up failing with trying to get some intercepts in, I believe, and I miss one. Another special one. I just missed right there. Do I finish this off? 5 charges. 8%. No, maybe I think I do finish this off with just barely any health, which is fine. Yeah, there we go. Get the solo with Void. Snuck it out. And then last up, for the first boss that we're going to take down, we're going to go towards the middle one, which is a Stark Spidey. Now this guy has an interesting set. Now he's got Aggression Fury, Mix Master, Be Like Water. So if you give him a non-damaging debuff, so like a parry stun, a fatigue, or whatever, you're gonna make him go fully unblockable. So the other thing that he has is Heavy Assault. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap out, I think, Void with White Magneto, and that's gonna allow me to get the guidance pre-fight, so that my hero / metal champs will get passive stuns. So it won't get the active debuff, which would make him unblockable. So you really would want to use that as ideal, so you don't make him go fully unblockable. So I'm going to apply the White Magneto guidance, and then I'm going to go in with a champ that I should not go in with, which is SheHulk. Because SheHulk, when you do your heavy assaults, heavies, I'm going to be applying a is an exhaustion, some passive debuff, and it's going to make him go fully unblockable, and it's not going to work. But I think even before I do that, I just totally miss a heavy, I think, or maybe I do get one heavy in, but I totally wasn't prepared for this. So I think I parry heavy, and then he's fully unblockable. I'm like, oh crap, like, and then he's building up these passive furies from aggression fury, and so I go for another parry, and I forget about the mix master, and I die, and I'm like, oh, that was totally not well planned. So I'm like, well, I'm looking at my champs, I can't really use Void. Mr. Fantastic, I don't want to use him because he's going to apply the study passives when he throws a special. And I'm looking at White Magneto, I'm like, does he apply any debuffs, or did I just kind of like hose myself? But no, White Magneto by himself works just fine, and you'll see I go in with him and pretty much parry heavy for the win. And it's nice that Stark Spidey is also a metal champ, so that way you get some magnetism, where it seems like it's going to prevent some of the aggression fury buildup even if you're kind of slow. But basically parry heavy, and you can see I'm getting a ton of damage, 11k on that just non-crit, and here we go again, 11k, and when we crit, how much is it for? Let's see, another 11, let's see if we can get a crit, another 11, but 11 per hit is not too bad, so we can't get a crit. I need to make sure if I throw a special that I don't get the armor break on him. So I don't think I throw a special at all, because I was concerned of what debuffs I would end up putting on him. There was a crit, and that was for 30,000. So we're gonna throw a special through. We got a bunch of prowess up, and boom, get him. No debuffs. And then just make sure you watch out for Mixmaster. Parry heavy, 11k, 30k per hit. It's not bad, and it's pretty simple and easy, straightforward, because you're hitting him with the heavies repeatedly under the stun. Mixmaster doesn't come into play. And yeah, make sure you land your parry, because if you don't land your parries and you let any of that aggression fury builds up, then the Stark Spidey is gonna hit super hard. But a few more parry heavies and this guy's down. So hopefully this helped you guys get an idea of what you guys can do on this path. I'm sure you guys can do it a lot better than me. I didn't do really well on this path. This is probably one of the worst paths I did performance wise. With a few revives on the path, and normally most of the paths I was able to knock out without getting using any items. So, but if I were to do this again, I'm pretty sure I could, with the knowledge that I gained and experience. So there we go. We get the kill, get the solo with, well, kind of a solo with White Magneto. But thanks for watching, fellas. Hope this helped, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.